Greetings, world.
Greetings.
Greetings, positive energy to all. We're here again.
Another
Queen's Corner.
Sunday.
It must be Sunday, right? Queen's Corner. This is Queen's Corner 4 and 5. We're gonna put a little bit of 4 and 5 in it, because we've missed the last couple of Sundays, and I missed you guys. And we have some of the regular queens on, and we have some new queens on the Queen's
Mhm.
Corner. And those of you who are watching, Shanae's not here, and Adija may pop in later on. And Jermaine is behind the scenes as usual, holding everything down. And if you want to come in and make a statement or something, he'll take care of that. So, welcome, Queens, again. I'm Rich Lamar, your host, and we welcome Queen Kenya.
Peace.
Queen Kenya sends out her piece, and we have Queen Pache. And is that how I pronounce her name? Is that Fuad? Fuad? Is she? I guess that's okay. So this Queen's Corner is about. We were talking
Is that
about this. Hello. Okay.
uh-huh.
Yeah, we were talking about this the last time we was on Queen's Corner. If anybody remember about relationships, we had touched on relationships on another Queen's Corner, and when you talk about the relationships of intimate relationships or dating or courting or relationships between a male and a female, queen and king, whatever you want to call it. It's always an interesting conversation. It's never a new conversation, but I feel we learn something new every time we talk about relationships, and this is one of the reasons why we're gonna talk about relationships today
Mhm.
in a different type of way. We're gonna talk
Okay.
about because you hear women say all the time, I like my man, but, and it's always an issue with him. And that door swings both ways. You see two people together, but when you sit and talk to them, I've noticed doing live lectures when I talk about relationships, you know, when you have couples that's married, there's couples that's on there for a date, and there's couples that are dating who have been dating, or it may be couples that's living together. But despite how one may see it, whether you're married, dating, courting, living together, or planning something, or pregnant, or planning on being pregnant, or planning on uh, making yourself a team or partnership in a relationship, I'm sure people have you have to have a preference. So
Mhm.
I say what? So I'm asking the queens today. Um, Give me something about the perfect man for them. I mean, of course, there's no such thing as a perfect person per se.
Mhm.
And all you perfect people out there, I'm not talking about you. Hey, what I'm saying is, um, what would you say in of a perfect man? Could you give me you give me something of the qualities of a perfect man that's perfect for you? And anybody out there can answer this question that's listening. They can come on, and Jermaine will put you on. But the queens that I do have on the platform,
Um,
what are some qualities? Any one of you can go first of this perfect man. If you could build a perfect man, what are some of the main qualities you must have and why?
this is Queen Kenya speaking. I am very unconventional and in my way of thinking and relationships and relating to men. I don't believe that there is a perfect man. You can say what you
Right.
want and you desire. Of course, there is none. Um, and that's not to say think any less of a man, period. But there's not one. My idea of the perfect man is multiple men because you cannot have, or for me personally speaking, I don't believe that I can have all that I need in a require of the man within one being. Therefore, I have to have multiple men in relationships. So I believe in polyamorous living,
Mm.
which is quite popular now. But to answer the question the way that you're answering it without my unconventional way of thinking, I think the ideal man for the regular woman would be one
Well,
who
wait,
is
oh, wait. Sorry to interrupt you. My question is, and those of you out there who may have missed my question also, let me clarify it. As I said earlier, there's no such thing as a perfect person.
right.
Although I apologize to the perfect people out there who feel that they are perfect. But for the women on the platform and for the women out there, I want you to give your ideal of a perfect man for you, the
Okay.
closest for you. Okay.
So for me, that would be multiple men. A man who is a lover, nurturer, provider, conscious man who is conscious intellectually, spiritually. I'm not into politics. He can have knowledge of it and know about it, but we ain't got to be all entangled in that because I don't believe in it. Um, Someone who's willing to be an entrepreneur, have business sense, um, build up the village, not only willing to take care of his own household, but be able to pour into the community, an activist. Like all these things cannot be entangled in one particular man because I have not found it. And so these are all the things that I believe that makes up the perfect man, that is found in many men. One who can relate to his masculine and feminine side, and not and balance it and embrace it, and not shun one more than the other. One who's able to communicate effectively. One who's able to think logically. I could go on and on, but I'll stop there.
Okay. Yeah, you pretty much set the foundation with multiple men.
Hmm.
So so more than one man, and so Kenya is getting the best of all worlds. So this is very interesting. Um, and so in all these qualities of men, Kenya, uh, my question is, what if one of these men like you more than the other? He's just going to have to deal with you that way, right?
Having an understanding and being able to communicate effectively is something that I require of all the men that I deal with. So going into the relationship, they have to have an understanding that is this is my liking, this is what I desire. You have the choice whether or not you want to interact with me and be involved with me in a relationship going forth. It's not nothing that I'm hiding. This
Right.
is what this is, and this is what this is going to be with me. So therefore, if you choose to get involved in a relationship with me, you have that understanding that this is a possibility that this may happen. You have to be able to balance that within yourself. It's no, oh, I'm going to give you more attention than the other. No, it's balance. This is what we're doing.
So they know this up front. You're an upfront queen. That
Yes,
is so right. So they know what they're getting into, correct?
exactly.
Yeah. So it's they're not full of surprise. And so what about children?
I already have two adult children. I'm not looking to have any more. I made sure that I would not have any more children. Um, if they are interested in having children, I am open to them having children with other women, and I will support them in that and love their children as they're my own. But I will not be bearing any. And that is also put at the table in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is and for all of you listening out there, uh I know a few people that see things the same way as Kenya does. And I won't go into my relationships because it's Queen's Corner. I'll save that for the next Kings. But uh, I'll not go into that. That's a whole other life for me. That whole ordeal that I do. But uh, yes, we're going to go back to Kenya. Kenya has laid the foundation, and I think it's an interesting foundation. I think a lot of women think like her, maybe, and I've met some women like her, and we'll go back to Kenya, but we have Sister Pache on, and
Yes, indeed.
and we would like to hear uh, what's on your quality list.
Let's see. Let's see. Well,
Quality.
as for me, I have a preference of one person, and which is cool for me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's different. Sister Queen Kenya, this is the first person that I've ever physically had a conversation with or been on the line with, um, that has that desire. So big ups to my sister Queen. And but for myself, you know i'm I'm a little bit, I'm more practical, or what have you. I guess, that would be my title for myself, just more practical. But for my perfect man, for me, one, he's got to have a sense of humor, because I know how I am. I'm very much on the artistic side. So, with my poetry, with my pache souffle, all of that, my entrepreneur spirit. So it has to be someone that understands that part about me. I'm a very dominant female, so I don't need a thug. Because we not, me being from the south side of Chicago and he a thug, it's just not gonna work out. So I need someone. My perfect man would have to be a balance, which means, that will bring out the softer side of who I am as a woman. And as far as, has to be someone that I can talk to, that I can grow with, that enjoys a little bit more down to earth things. When I say things, I love, I mean, I'll climb in a tree if I want to. I mean, and hula hoop, walk in the park, just whatever. But I play football. I mean, I just love that part of uh enjoyment. I enjoy the little stuff, going to art shows, thrift stores, just whatever. But that person would have to have that kind of balance. Person that is nurturing at the same time is a man. I don't have to teach him or train him or primp or prod him to be that. He is that. And also at the same time, like, in agreement with Queen Kenya, has to have a balance of his masculine energy and also be in tune with his feminine energy, because that feminine energy is just gonna help the balance of nurturing the relationship. By default, women are nurturers, but it's always good to have a king that has that same balance within him, because he's comfortable with his feminine side and not and understanding what that is. So, but it has to be some joy and some laughter. It has to be some understanding of self and knowing self. Um, and as far as and intelligent, being able to hold an intellectual conversation. I'm not a person, like my queen too. I'm not all into the politics, but if you know it, that's cool. But every time I talk to you, that's not what I want to talk about. That's a turn off for me. Um so um and balance with spiritual self has got to be in play. So that is internally my perfect man. Now, if I were to kind of paint what he would look like, that's something totally different.
You're
But
you're jumping ahead of us now.
okay, I'm jumping ahead. That's why I say, that would look a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? But as for me, that would be my perfect king for myself.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of being clairvoyant there. You was reading my mind.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's coming. I know you a little bit.
And so that's my name. I mean, we're gonna go back to having you girls, you ladies, explain more about that foundational um, uh, comments that you made, statements that you
Right.
made. but before we go there, um, that's my next question. So how and and starting with Kenya, how important is the look, and what is the look?
Um, Honestly, there is no preference of a look, but there is a preference of the importance of their health. I do not eat meat, so I would prefer if they have an understanding of a plant-based diet or being vegetarian, or if they have that mindset, then I also know, feel that they would have a mindset of being healthy, which would mean that they would keep themselves up and keep their health up. If they weren't in shape, they would be working and willing and working on being in shape. So there's no preference of look for me other than him actually being a brother. It has to be a black man. It has to be a man of color. I'm not finna be with no white man. I can't do it.
Yeah,
So that's
that
my
was
preference.
both of y'all jumping ahead, but that's all good because this is all in the same thing. That was I was gonna go into the nationality and
No,
you
I
know
don't do
you
Asians. I don't do the. If he ain't got no black in him, I can't do it.
so it's not gonna so your men is not gonna be one Asian, one Jewish man, and you got a
No,
Polish man
no,
and
mm-mm,
and no Puerto Rican.
none of
They
that.
gotta be brothers. Oh, so I know you and Shay on the same page as that because
Hey, you already know.
I think Shay
Yeah,
says be with she'll be with a man 2 feet tall before she trains a heritage, right? So
that's right. Yes.
and so the well, some people say that looks is superficial, but still everybody has a preference. Everybody wants
Hmm.
to want to enjoy who you look at. You want to be satisfied with who you look at, right? I can't speak for you, Queens, but I would think that somebody would want to be satisfied with what they're looking at, uh,
Absolutely.
according to
I
them,
believe.
because
I
Hmm.
the
believe
ugly.
that is
Oh, go
true.
ahead. Yeah,
I,
because go ahead, Kenya.
I was just saying that I believe that's true. Of course, our eyes can play tricks on us, also with the mind, but for me, it's really more about personality and character because a person could typically not be my type in the look. And I hate to say my type because I really don't have one. But when I come across a brother that looks nice and I'm attracted to his physicality, it's like, oh, he looks nice. Okay, that's cool. But if we start having a conversation and that energy goes somewhere else, I'm like, he ugly. So there you have it. It's about the character, personality, and the energy that they give to me, not really about what he looked like. My celebrity crush guy is Idris Elba. I love him. I think he's fine. I could have a brother that look like that, but if you a brother that look like that, and I hate to say this, but this is an example of what I would not like in a brother that looks like Idris Elba, but you act like Lil Boosie. No, no, sir, I can't.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yes,
gonna do
indeed.
that.
Right.
So
So
that's two different mentalities. That's two different ways of thinking. I don't want to find brother that looks good the way I want him to look, but he got the character and personality of something else that's far fetched from where I'm trying to go. I'm not gonna do that.
how about you, Sister Shay?
Um, if I were to say that I have a type, and I do have a type. If I'm walking, let's just say I'm walking in a mall, and the the brother that I'm attracted to that would be my type, that would make me turn my head, would be a tall, dark-skinned brother, clean shaven, nice dress. I mean, not in a suit or nothing, but just put together, well put together, nice teeth, that would turn my head. And if he smells
Okay.
good, that would turn my
Hmm.
head. You understand? Right, right. So, if I was to say, if I was to say I had that type, that would be what would catch my eye, you know, And like Queen said, looks can be deceiving. I mean, he may look the part, but if we were to sit down and have dialogue and exchange conversation, that may be something totally different, and it would change
Mhm.
the way I would see him. And what I was was looking at to be attraction would turn out to be like a dud, like womp womp womp, no prize, no prize for this dude. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
but that is what catches my eye. My type would be a tall, dark skinned brother, medium build, where I could almost see, not no big football player looking dude, but a dude kind of slim, muscular to medium muscular build, where that is my type that would catch my eye off top. But that's I don't always end up with that person, and you know so again, it's really about the connection, the person's personality, but they still would have to be I would still have to have an attraction to them. And it may not be all of this package that I have envisioned, right? But he could have the smile that I like, that I'm attracted to. It could be his conversation and his laughter, nice eyes. I love to see that. This sounds crazy, but I love to see a brother with nice long eyelashes. That's me. I don't know. I don't know. That's my thing. But just and it could be his dress, and it could be his swag, so to say, but it could be, but it's going to be a component of something that I find attractive in order for me to pursue anything. I have to be attracted to him some way. And
Mhm.
it can't be, it can't be just because he showed up. It has to be something that draws me in, that makes me want to go take the conversation over the phone to a personal face to face, and so on and so forth, where we actually go on a date and get to know each other, whatever that looks like. But it has to be something. It has to be something appealing. And you know, every brother that I meet, I never look at them to compare them to the previous brother or anything like that. I look at that brother for who he is, and to see, or see if it's a connection there, if there's an attraction, in order for anything to go any further. So that person will come with their own, and individually, what I would see in them, but not what I'm comparing them to, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
And for the people listening, we do have men that listen also. This is Mental Rolodeck, and you guys know me, Mental Rolodeck. I'm Rich Lamar. I look at things a holistic way. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do this Queen's Corner is because like I said at the top, for those of you who missed the top of the show, uh, relationships are always talked about. I don't think a day goes by without somebody talking about relationships. But you always learn something new when you talk about it. Now, and for you men out there, don't be discouraged if you got long eyelashes, because there's women out there that like that.
That's right.
So, and the other men out there, we have Kenya, who would like more than one man, and she'll lay it on the table on you for the beginning. For those of you men out there who feel you got to hide something to see somebody.
Yeah.
So, uh, and this is a good thing, because this word ugly, always comes up in relationships. And I hear people
Mhm.
say, "Well, I don't want an ugly man," and I hear men say, "I don't want an ugly woman." I remember I looked at a woman. I really thought she was ugly. I really thought she was ugly. And the question I'm getting to is the inner and the outer,
Mhm.
and because there has to be an outer involved, because attraction is with the eyes first,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's the outer. And then I was like, man, this girl is, man, she, and it's a terrible thing when somebody says somebody is ugly. And so, but the more I talk to this man, I almost said her name, but the more I talk to, the the better looking she got, you know. The more I got to know her, the more I seen the inside of her was not ugly. And once I got comfortable with the inside of her inwardly, I didn't really see looks at all. She really helped me to be a better man, to be a better person, into looking at someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna ask you, ladies, is it really important that your man should be really inwardly like a man that's inwardly uh, how can I say it? A man that's really deep inwardly, a man that really uh, looks beyond the surface of life. Would you tolerate a man who really looks at life deeply, or does that matter, or does it matter how deep your man is inwardly?
Um, to answer that, it does matter for me because if his if his soul, when I say soul, if his soul is if his soul is ugly, if his presence and way how he treats people, how he talks to people, um, what you know, I look at how he interacts with other people. It could be something simple of y'all at a restaurant. How does he talk to the server? How does he, does he talk at people? I mean, all of that stuff plays a huge part. So it that internal self and how he is with family, how his thought process is, how respectful is he with another female, uh another queen, where is he in retrospect with his children, so all of that, that inward self, how does he navigate whenever his back is up against the wall? Is he one of those people that take it out on everybody, very ignorant to sound advice, uh, too proud to accept anything because he bangs his fist on his chest. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man. I get all of that. I'm not trying to take your place, but how are you when things are not smooth sailing? What does that look like? And how do you find peace within yourself when things get jacked up? Because it does happen, and where is your balance? How do you find your balance in your soul, and some people, so many sisters, and I'm saying sisters because I'm still kind of old school, I'm saying. So I look at a lot of younger sisters, probably mid 30s or so, and and they're so caught up on what it looks like on the outside
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, they caught up on what they look like on the outside and how much paper they got in their pocket and
Mm-hmm.
all this type of stuff, and they'll put up with a whole bunch of foolishness just to
Mm-hmm.
kind of keep that image up. And that inner self of both of them, herself and this king that she chose because of what he looks like and what he has in his pocket, you know um that inner self between the two of them is not fit for sore eyes. You understand what I'm saying? It's something that needs to be cleaned up. So that inner self. So I can't, for me, that inner perspective of that king means a lot to me. Now, I'm older. I'm 51, so I don't seen a lot of crazy stuff. So my mind and my mindset is a little bit more settled, than say, because in my, let's just say, my early 30s, what my ideal king would look different than what it does now. And that comes from experiences, that comes from heartbreak, that comes from a failed marriage, failed relationships, so, it starts chipping away at a lot of stuff and it causes you to look inwardly. And so when you start looking inwardly, your decisions, change, so like I said, even as a young woman, I still was not attracted to the thug dude. that just didn't work for me, and so the inside is a whole lot more attractive to me, but he's got to have a little something else on the outside that I am still drawn to. But the inside, the inward cleanse means the world. Yeah.
Okay, and well, you put it out there. You feel that you're an older woman, experienced in that. And
Hmm.
what have you, looking back on things, what have you learned that really? Um, no, I'm gonna save that for later. I'm gonna save that for later.
Okay.
Let
Okay.
me
Mm.
get Kenya's take on how deep does he have to be, or does he have to be, or is that really attractive to you?
Um, yes, he needs to be deep, to an extent of understanding who he is, knowing thyself. Essentially, when meeting someone and dating and interacting and getting to know a guy, I understand that an attraction has come unto me because it is simply a reflection of myself. And so, how far along I go within this relationship is how much I'm going to learn about myself. If this person is not a person that's understanding self and realizing that relationship is about growth and reflection of self, then there's probably not too much we can do together or grow forward together in. So there has to be a level of consciousness. There has to be a level of understanding of self. There has to be depth, character, personality, all of that is wrapped in there. It's like the other sister said, there has to be a foundation of respect, love, kindness. How does he treat the fellow man? How does he treat his mother, his sisters, other women? Like those are actions and characteristics of a being. But what about self? How do you treat yourself? How do you love yourself? Because if you can't love yourself, you can't love me. So depth is very important to me.
And so this death is so important to you that, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a must.
There has to be some kind of evidence of a foundation there. Yes.
Now, does that mean religion?
No, I'm
When you
not a religious person. I am not a religious person. I believe in spirituality and consciousness. That would be a conversation for me and that person to have to understand. They have to know where I am, and I have to understand where they are. That also would tell whether or not we're going to grow forward together. I don't believe in religion. I
yeah,
believe religion is an oppressor. So he can have a religion. I'm not against it, but we
yeah,
have to have that understanding of knowing where we are and be able to communicate about it effectively.
I see. Which leads to my next question: is what you have this man who you are attracted with, and you do like, but he wants you to go to church with him every
Oh, I'm not gonna do that, and we're not gonna go far. I'm not going back to church. I'm not doing that.
Sunday.
The man that I'm gonna be involved with, he gonna understand and he gonna know that that's not for me. That's not for me. If that's what you want to do, brother, you go right
Yeah, right.
ahead. But that
So,
road, I have traveled it. I have got the book, the T-shirt, and everything else for my
right.
journey of life. And I
Yeah.
know for myself that I don't need that. I get what I need elsewhere. I don't need that.
Mhm. So,
Now, that doesn't say that I don't believe in God and I don't have my own source of, communing with the earth and the universe. That's not what that means, because I do. That just means I'm not going to no church building following behind no man in no pulpit or a woman for that matter. I'm not doing that.
and yeah, and you're safe here on MEN-talRollaDek. The conversations we've had about religion, we just had a big one yesterday, um, about religion, because we live in this program society, and those of you who listening, um, like I said, those of you who just tuned in, we're talking about the perfect man to the queens we have on the platform, and I'm talking to you also. If you like to type in a question or your your ideal man for you. You can do that also. And we're learning from these two queens. We're learning from Kenya, and we're learning from Sister Shay. And
We have another queen on the line too.
okay,
Jody the real.
yeah,
Hi,
Hi
Jody.
Jody. Greetings, sister.
greetings. I was
Peace,
just listening. I
baby.
didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was saying. Uh, you're welcome. You're welcome to ask a question, or if you'd like to be asked a question, I can ask the question too. Because what we do here on Queen's Corner is I host the show. I ask the questions to the queens on the panel, and we learn from that. There's no right or wrong because we're asking your preference and your take on it. And um, and what I was saying, and we were just talking about the inward. We're talking about the inward person. Is it to have a man that's deep? And Kenya was just explaining that she's not a church going woman, and she is not going to go to church with her man, and she sees the religion. She likes a deep man, uh, but she's not religious, so-called church-going type.
Mm-mm.
Now, is it fair to say that um, Kenya, you could date that man that goes to church, or you won't go to church with him, or you just wouldn't even.
Now, see, this is the caveat when it comes to dating a man who goes to church. Because more than likely, that man who goes to church, like you said, they're programmed. They have a mindset already. So he's already on a one track mindset, thinking that he gonna marry just one woman and be with that one woman. I'm not
Right,
that bro. I
right.
am not that woman. So therefore, once we get to that conversation within our dating and he understands, look, I'm not that woman. He has to choose. I'm going to keep on doing this, what I'm doing, living my life, or I'm going to pursue trying to have a relationship with this queen right here. Because off the rip, I'm telling him, dude, I'm not going to do that with you. I'm not doing that. So if you want to continue a relationship with me, that means you're trying to grow where I'm going, which will pull you from where you at. That's the decision that you're gonna have to decide. I'm not trying to pull you. I'm just telling you, if you continue with me, either you're gonna get pulled to where I'm going, or we gonna separate and you're gonna go your own way. Because that's just how it's gonna roll. He has to make a choice.
And and it's like I said earlier. Kenya is a upfront woman. She's a queen that tells whoever she's involved with what's happening up front as they go along dating, and of course you learn more about each other as you interact in the relationship. But Kenya tells you up front. She's this is a contract. There's no fine print.
Right.
So, uh, and for you people listening, uh, this is a beautiful thing. How many times have we seen relationships where people break up and they say, "Well, I thought you was like this. I thought you was like that."
Hmm.
You can't say that when you there's no fine print in the beginning, right?
That's right. When all the cards are laid on the table.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to take the time to get to know someone because you can start dating someone as an intent to have a relationship, but find out, you know what? We're better off just friends. We can be the best of friends, we can be cool. But a relationship, no, we can't do that because you realize that there's too many differences and you can't really grow forward together. That's the whole point of allowing yourself the opportunity to date in the first place.
Yeah,
That's the
dating,
way I
dating.
see it.
Well, I don't think there's no other way to see it. I mean, dating. This is why you date to get to know it. I mean, they used to call it courting.
Hmm.
You know, and on my show, I have a show called Beyond the Surface, and I say we this word love and friendship has been so abused, it's almost lost its meaning. And you
Yeah.
can
Right.
throw and
Hmm.
I throw meditation and dating in there also. I'm a meditator. People say, well, pray for me. I say, I'm not going to pray for you because I don't pray.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And so they like, oh, is that right? Well, why? And I said, well, it's a deep thing, but I meditate. That's just I have a direct connection. But I'll meditate for you.
All right.
I'll meditate.
Okay.
So the other thing is, uh, or what I was saying is, dating has almost lost its meaning. It
Hmm.
used to be called
Mm-hmm.
courtship. I mean, back in the day, they really called it court. Depends on where you're from. Some people call it courting.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I like you. Yes, I'm attracted to you. Yes, I'm fond of you. But we must date to see if it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
By
I'll go
me.
ahead.
So that's the thing. And I think dating is very important, and interacting, and because that's the value of a date. That's the value of dating, because you're looking at, because in the beginning you have this image thing going on. Of course you want to look and sound great. You're attracted
Mm-hmm.
to this person. Of course you want them to see you as something. But
As
I
the,
think as more you date, I see more as people date, that the more the image falls off and the real thing
Mhm.
shows up.
That's right.
Exactly.
And it almost falls completely off when you move in together.
Exactly.
Ooh.
That's why you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to get what you're supposed to get before you get that far. Agreed. So I just wanted to say, the sister mentioned her age. She said that she's 51.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm 41. And so she mentioned the age as far as like giving an example, some women in their 30s, what they might be looking for, and that, so on and that for.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I want to say that there is a representation, I think, as far as generational gaps in every generation, that there's a different mindset, a different perception, a different reality for us. But
Absolutely.
as
Mm-hmm.
we grow, I believe through relationships and experiences, as we grow, even though we may have come before or after within generations, there's that opportunity to expand within ourselves. It's really more about
Mm-hmm.
self growth. How much do you learn within these relationships and these people that
Absolutely.
you encounter versus are you still entertaining the same kind of person over and over again and then looking like, oh, this didn't work, oh, that didn't work. Well, did it not work because it
Mm-hmm.
didn't work, or did it not work because it's you? I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us within generation to generation aren't looking within self. That's why for me, depth of the man is important, because if you can't look within yourself and deal with in you and love on you and be whole within yourself, too many people are looking for a relationship to become whole. Like they like to say, this is my better half. Ain't no better half. I'm a whole being. So when I
That's
come to
it.
the table, I'm a whole being. When you come to the table, you need to be a whole being. And if you're not a whole being, then we need to discuss about what are some of the things that you are working on within yourself to become a whole being. Can we grow forward together? That's
Mm-hmm.
what's important to me. I'm not looking for, oh, he got a job, he making six figures. See, that it's important for the brother to have money now, and it's important for him to have the idea of being able to make money and have wealth, and
Mm-hmm.
that's great. But if you ain't got the wealth within yourself, the knowledge of self, you ain't got money, ain't gonna do you no good.
So not.
I mean,
And look.
I definitely agree 100%. Me personally, I am 31, and I didn't find my significant other until I switched my type. And my type when I was younger was like the bad boy, the jock, the cocky guy. But that guy turned out to be a player. And I had to go through years of dating the same guy with a different face until I
Mm,
realized, no, I'm not loving myself enough to sit in this room and let this
ooh,
man date other women and let this man talk to me a certain way. Um, so for me, I definitely agree with everything Kenya is saying, because me too, I'm a spiritual person, but if someone, for something as not really simple, but for something as simple as, will you go to church with me, if you don't understand me saying no, I would rather sit at home and read my scripture alone, then you're not the person for me. And then for me personally, my main thing is I'm an aggressive woman. I like to be in charge at times. And I've been in relationships where the man has either been threatened because I am too aggressive, or I've been told to sit and look pretty.
Mm-mm.
You know, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my ideal man was the man that could put his ego aside and cheer for me,
Yeah.
you know,
That balance of
while I'm trying to
feminine
feel
and
better.
masculine.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
That's
And just, uh, oh, okay. I was about to say, and just to piggyback on both of these queens here, um, uh, Queen Kenya, you hit the nail right on the head. The same thing, and Jody, Queen Jody, you know, at one time, as transitioning, you're in your relationships and you learn more and more about you. And whenever you have, this is me. Whenever would have these relationships and they would, yeah, just fall away, whatever, break up, just drama, whatever. I don't know, but eventually, I had to look at what the common denominator was. Just
Mhm,
like Jody having the same dude show up, different name, probably
mhm,
different hairstyle,
mhm,
but it was because of that energy that I was putting out there and what
Mm-hmm.
was my insecurity within self. So I knew that the common denominator was me.
mhm,
So I know I could say probably about 4 years that I just kind of, because I had to deal with self. I had to, because it was hurting me too much and it was chipping away at me too much. And I was losing too much time spending with brothers who didn't know themselves. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
And two half people coming together to be whole. You just got two broke down people. Ain't nobody
Exactly.
whole. You got to be whole coming in that thing. You got to know
Exactly.
who you are. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that comes through lessons. And some of them, like they said, some of the best lessons are the bought ones. It's gonna cost you
Mm-hmm.
money. It's gonna cost you
Mm-hmm.
time. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of that. So I had to come to. I mean, when I say it was about 4 years, it was about 4 years. And when I came out of that thing, I had a new perception of who Pache was.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't shortchange myself. I'd rather not be in a relationship, or we just, we come to the table and say, hey, look, I don't want a relationship, but I need a little cut every now and again. So let's just make that happen. And we could, we just hook up whenever we want to hook up. I had to put that out on the table. And then when I got to a point that I wanted a relationship, that I knew I had to do away with that, because I had to change my mindset. But everything was on the table. And once I think, those journeys allows us to really see self, so we know what it is that we want, because our inner self has gained so much momentum and power from our previous experiences. It's just that, BS can't just show up and we not call it BS. You understand what I'm saying? And I think, and we have, and this is cool because we got 31, 41, and 51. So we got, 20 years right here in between, of just the experience, 10, 10, and 10. So, I mean, 10 and 10. But it's awesome to kind of hear the growth of the mindset of each queen here and their journey and how they're navigating. I think that's powerful. So yeah, that's what I got to say.
because
Go ahead, King.
it was definitely
Yeah.
when I woke up with that euphoria moment. And I definitely agree when you said like women's in their 30s and even women in their 20s. I'm listening to their stories and I'm like, why are you still there? But then I
Mm-hmm.
flash back and I'm like, you know what? I was her in my 20s
Mm-hmm.
or
Right.
a few years ago. And it literally took me a long time to finally put a list together, and like everybody I dated after 29, I'm like, this is what I want. I'm putting it all on the table on the first date. I want a relationship. I want a relationship that's eventually going to turn into a marriage. I want a relationship that's eventually going to lead to kids. Are you that person? Are you on that same path? If the word marriage intimidates you, goodbye. You know, I'm not saying we should get married right now, but if I mention marriage, you shouldn't be cringing. So
Mhm.
like that was the kind of mindset I had, because I got to like this stubbornness. It was like I love myself too much to go through anything like that again. So here's what it is. I like this. Do you like it too? If not, goodbye after the first date. Because I couldn't waste any more time. Can't waste no more time being upset. Or even you're in a relationship or you're dating someone, and in the back of your mind, you're like, who are they with? Who is this? You're getting this anxiety. But when you look at it, it's not you that's creating the anxiety. It's the type of personality or the aura coming off of that person that's giving you that anxiety. With the king I have now, with Sean, I don't feel that. I've never felt that anxiety when I was around him. He never gave me any signs or any signals for me to feel like, oh my God, I'm home and he's not here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's definitely like an energy thing. And then after a while, you start to pick up on that. Like on the first day, nope, your aura reminds me of my ex-boyfriend from 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Jody. And and while Jody was coming on the platform, I was talking about, and we're still on that subject. For those of you listening, I was talking about the inner and the outer,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked the queens that um, how important is it to have a man that looks beyond the surface, a deep man, a deep thinking man. And I think it's fair to say, with the three queens that we have on here, that these are secure women with themselves. And that being so, I see a lot of men are intimidated by that. I might lose my man card in saying that,
Yeah,
but
that's a problem.
uh,
That's a big problem right there. That's why they
you
need to
know,
know they self.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you do too much. You should be in the kitchen, or you should be this, or I'm the one that should be doing this. No, man or woman, we are both equal in our own right. We are
We are
both
beings. We
exactly.
are human first. And we
yes,
both have masculine and feminine energy. We have to
Mhm.
be able to balance. A lot of brothers feel insecure because they ain't balanced.
Mhm.
yeah, and see, that's what I'm getting at. The inner and the outer. Now, what I mean by that is, the outward, the woman that's into the glamour, the glitter, the cars, and oh, he looks great, he's got a great body, all this outside stuff,
Mhm.
all these outside attractions. The outer, I say the outer cancels out the inner, and the inner cancels out the outer.
Mhm.
Which means if you find a woman that's really secure with herself, it cancels out a lot of the superficiality.
Mhm.
Naturally, you find a woman. Now this door swings both ways, and you find a woman or a man who's really into the ego, the outside, the car, the income, and the flash and the
Mhm.
flexing. It cancels out them really seeing themselves inwardly.
Yeah.
But my question to the platform on the Queens is here is what now you Queens are secure with yourself. Okay, you're secure with yourself, but what makes you feel secure with a relationship with a man?
Say that question again.
The question is, you Queens are secure with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but what
Mhm.
makes you feel secure with a relationship with a man?
What makes me feel secure within a relationship with the man?
I think
Just
Now,
I think
anybody can go. Anybody.
I mean, like for me, it's a matter of no makeup, toenails long, booger in the nose, and you're still in love. Like I can be 100% myself, good and bad, and it does not make you cringe. I am secure in that relationship. If I can be away from you and not feel anxious because you're out there talking to other women, you know what I mean? Like I trust my boyfriend 100%. He's a gentleman at all times. So when he goes out there, I know he's representing me in a good light, not pretending I don't exist when he's not in the house. So personally, for me, those are the two things. Like me trusting him as a man and in our relationship, and also me being able to just let it all out. Like, here are me, here's my flaws, take it all.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
but part of my question is on his actions, what makes you feel more secure about the relationship?
Oh, his actions.
This is Queen Kenya. For me, his actions would have to be being having that self knowledge, being secure within himself.
Mhm.
Because I can't really, I have dealt with this, but I can't really deal and grow effectively with an insecure man because
Mhm.
he's secure within himself. He's always going to find something to be insecure about with me. We can't grow together if he's not secure within himself. He has to have some kind of self growth, self love about himself. He has to be able to carry himself a certain kind of way. He has to know
Mhm.
how to relate and do inner self work. Like, relationships are work. You have to have a relationship with yourself first before you can have a relationship with someone else. He has to have an understanding of that. If he doesn't have an understanding of that, then therein lies the problem. There may be some things that he hasn't dealt with from his past, emotional scars, whether it's childhood or adulthood. Being able to
Mhm.
be secure in oneself is what's going to help me to be secure in them.
Mhm.
I'm secure in myself already. So in order for me to be secure with them, they got to be secure in themselves.
Right, right. If you're gonna tell him what's up without fine print day one, then that's the action of security on your part.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the action of a man that makes you feel more secure?
He has to be able to bring the same thing to the table that I'm bringing. If he can't be upfront with me, then that's the issue. If he's pretending and I find out that he was pretending, then that's cut off. That's a problem. You got to be honest, bro. You can't communicate
Mhm.
effectively and tell the truth. You got to lie. Why you feel like you got, this is why marriages sometimes do not work and some relationships don't work, because just be who you are. Some
Yes.
people feel like, okay, it's time for me to be in a relationship. Let me get in this committed relationship. Let me be with her. And they start off good, but they're not being true to themselves, because if you are true to yourself and you realize, hey, I want to be in a relationship, but I really want to be able to see other people while I'm in this relationship. You got to just say it up front. Why get involved
Yeah.
in a relationship with a woman knowing you want to see other women? Then you end up cheating on the broad because you knew all along you wanted to see other women. Why you
Mhm.
just didn't tell her from the beginning and let her choose and decide whether or not she wants to do that?
Mhm.
Right.
This is
So
why
so
it's
is it
important.
right? I see. So is it fair to say, Kenya, what you're saying, a man that says what he mean and mean what he says?
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
His words match his actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
and well, go ahead, Sister Pache.
um, also too, I mean, and both of the queens said the same thing. Trust is the main thing. I've got to be able to trust you, and that comes with knowledge of self. And this is crazy, but this is one of the things that I would do when I say knowledge of self. Be secure with your manhood. Be secure with who you are. Why don't when you're not second guessing your manhood? And and what I mean is one of the things that I would do with guys that I would date. I would take them to a poetry reading. I mean, I'm either featured or I'll sign my name on open mic, you know. And one of the things that I've noticed, this will be a deal breaker, is when I'm on that stage, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to you, this, that, another. But when I'm on that stage, I'm an animal with that mic. That's just who I
Mhm.
am. My personality is totally different because of my gift. Now, when I come down off that stage, because of who I am and how long I've been in the game doing what I do, I'm networking. And when I'm networking, I'm going to have sisters and I'm going to have kings come up. We
Right.
network and we exchanging numbers. We talking about this, we talking
Mhm.
about that. Now, if you sitting over there in the corner looking like you don't drink a whole gallon of pickle juice, your face balled up, looking all sour and twisted because you mad because brothers are coming up and they talking to me, that nigga saw I'm sitting right here, and he didn't even shake my hand. Well, you sitting right here, King. Introduce yourself. Half these people I don't know their name, but you insecure because now you seeing how I navigate, but now now all of a sudden you got to walk around with your chest puffed up, trying to make an example out of someone.
Mhm.
Well, my thing is that insecurity, that lack of confidence, I don't need. I need to see that you are confident. I need to see that if I'm doing what I'm doing, you're confident enough to let me do what I do.
Mhm.
And then once we get through, we can have a conversation about it. It's like, man, that was good. I didn't know you flowed like that, this, that, and the other. That's cool. But if I see that you're intimidated by what I do, then we're gonna have a problem, because what the one thing I'm not gonna do is back down, and I'm not gonna water down and dumb down my gifts or who I am,
Mhm.
because you can't walk in a secure light that's within you. And it's not my job to present your light.
Exactly.
So I've got to see a solid, in order for me to feel secure, I need to know that you're secure within yourself. I need to know that you understand your own power, that you walk in your own power. Nobody completes you. You have your own power. I'm not bringing anything. We're bringing something together collectively in a relationship, but I'm not that person that's going to give that to you. You have to have it on your own. You
Right.
have to have your own strength. I've got to see that. I've got to know that. I've got to know that if something goes down, we got each other's back.
Right.
Not me having your back because you cowering down. No, I need to know that you could stand. Because if you could stand solid and firm in who you are, I know you got my back. So, and that's what I need to see. I need to see that I can trust you. And I need to see that I know that you're a man and that you're solid, you know, and that makes a difference in the world, because at the end of the day, and the queens that's on this panel will probably agree that if we can't see that in you, it's hard for us to respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So Kings, are you out there listening? I mean, this is this is why I wanted to do this Queen's Corner. Now, Kings, we're gonna have our platform, but this is the Queens to let you know, and I don't think I can have three better queens here with three different perspectives, but in a way, it's harmonious perspective.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, and we're talking about the inner and the outer, and I always say, like I mentioned earlier, the inner cancels out the outer, and the outer cancels out the inner. And I always also say that the inner always overcomes the outer. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we find that out when we move in with somebody, don't we?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That
Definitely.
that inner that inner self cancels out all those images, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
That inner self. And this is why I don't really follow religion, because I can go to church, I can pray, I can do all these things, but the inner self of me was going to rear his head no matter what.
Exactly.
Eventually, and not necessarily mean a bad thing. I'm not talking against religion, and some of you are religious. That's fine. I don't have anything against religion, because that person is saying I see something more to life. But I'm saying all the must and must nots. And I'm saying look at the actual person. You don't have a relationship till the actual person shows up.
Right.
Hmm.
See, but see, when you're young, you think you're in a relationship, you think you're in a job, you think you're in life. But
Mm-hmm.
as the inner overcomes the outer, oh, it was a wolf under that sheep clothing. And
Most
we're finding this out about government today, are we not?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh,
no
put
doubt.
a mask on, do this, do that. And when the story keeps changing, what is that? You lying to me if the story keeps changing,
That's
Right.
right.
But
and
because
so
that there's a underlining hidden agenda, and unfortunately sometimes even with relationships people go into relationship with underlining
We're
hidden
here.
agenda.
Mhm.
there
Yes.
you go, there
Yes.
you
There
go,
you go.
and
That's it.
that's what I mean by the inner overcomes the outer.
Hmm.
The inner overcomes the outer, no matter how slow. It might not happen overnight, but it eventually it will happen. That's why, a lot of women talk to me, be like, "Well, I'm staying together for the kids, and I'm doing this." I said, "You can create all the ideas you want. All
Uh,
the ideas just postpone collapse. Am I right or wrong?"
Yeah.
that's right.
And so, by me being holistic, I look at the whole thing. This is what politics, life is relationships. This is with man and woman, your government, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And all these queens on the platform, they like to say what they mean and mean what they say. Day
Mhm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nothing can scare a man more.
And I don't like the brother that's always trying to change you. Don't try to change me. Change yourself.
No. Oh my
Yes.
God. Oh,
Because
that's
I'm
it.
not gonna change. The only change I'm gonna
Oh,
make is the changes I need to make for my own self growth.
Mhm.
And if that ain't in the direction that you want to change, then it's not happening. Stop trying to change me.
Mhm.
that's it.
Mm.
Because it's
Men,
so crazy. 'Cause I saw something online on Facebook. It was one of my male friends on my page, and he's like, "If a girl don't have her nails done, she ain't it." And I'm like, "But are you paying for those nails? Like, what if she
Right.
doesn't want to get her nails done?" And then secondly, how do you look? Like, are you holding yourself to the same standard that you're holding this girl? And he's like, "Oh, I'm not even dating shorty, da da da." So that even more so, how are you making demands on a woman that you're not even dating? Like the audacity of it all. And even some women, "Oh, I want my man to have this and have that." But are you in school? Do you have a job? Like, you can't be throwing demands at like your significant other and you're at the bottom of the barrel not doing anything to improve yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Exactly.
and that's a great point. That's a great point, Jody, because I talk to people about eating right and other things on my Beyond the Surface show, and how do I look telling people how to eat, and I'm 18 months pregnant?
Right.
So if it's looking like my water's about to break, and I'm telling you, don't eat meat, don't do this, don't do that.
Mhm.
If you want to be healthy, how to. And that door swings both ways. A lot of women say, I need you to change," but I know a lot of men do it. Look, babe, I love you, but you got to change this. You got to. When they come with all these, I said, "Look, you want something to change? Change your underwear. How about that? Don't change."
I do not.
Right.
I have learned that you do not go into relationships with demands and ultimatums. You go in as yourself
No.
and
Uh-huh.
you lay
Mm.
down your truth.
Uh-huh.
You go in
That's
as
it.
yourself and you lay down your truth. You say what it is you have to say and you be accountable for yourself. You don't expect anything from nobody else because that's what gets us in trouble. We expect people to be like us and they not.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
And it's
That's
crazy.
how you get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, and it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy you say that because another thing that comes to mind for me is people love different.
They do
Some
because
people
we were
That's
raised
right.
offer
differently.
love. Some people
That's right.
open love. So that's another thing that people have to sort of adapt to. Because in my relationship, I'm more of a shower. I'm not one for words. I tend to not like to be vulnerable. So I'm like, I know his favorite color is this, so I'll buy something that's that color, or I know his favorite food is this. Whereas he is a more vocal person when it comes to love. So his version of love is through expression. So that's where a lot of people fall short because they're like, why isn't he loving me the way I want? And it's like because he loves different, or why isn't she, people love different.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
about having an understanding of their love language and also being able to communicate effectively,
Uh-huh.
being patient,
Exactly.
being kind, being understanding, and being compassionate. How you
Mm-hmm.
gonna expect someone to love you the way that you love, and you come from two different backgrounds, two different cultures, two different households, probably two different age ranges, probably two different sides of the country. You might be from the East Coast, he might be from the West Coast. It's different things. You
Mhm.
have to meet people where they are and be willing to
Aha.
understand what they bring to the table. You
Mhm.
have to learn them.
Absolutely.
You can't expect nothing. You just got to learn them and be
Mm-hmm.
willing to grow with them or go away from them.
Mhm.
That's the bottom line.
That's it. That's it.
Right. Everybody is from if you look at this world has many types and kinds of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have two people that come together who's fond of each other. Now they're dating, they're getting to know each other. It's like Jody says, now they like each other, they're fond of each other, they may even
Mm-hmm.
love each other,
Right.
but they're loving each other differently,
Differently.
right?
Exactly.
That's right.
They love now, but there also is a love to where there's no difference because the fondness, the things that keep you together is harmonious.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
there
could be.
is a love that where because you wouldn't be harmonious if you wasn't agreeing,
Yeah, but that's
you
the
know.
Mm.
that's the difference
So,
of knowing agape
yes,
love and eros love. There's different kinds of love too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now and this is what I mean. Me, I see one love. Many people see different loves,
Mm-hmm.
like agape love or love. I see one love with inner over and understanding. Yes, I can love
Mm-hmm.
my wife, but it's not the same love I have for my daughter.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
I love them both. And so when I speak
Right.
publicly, people say, well, how can you say it's the same? I say the binding tie of love is the same thing that destroys love,
Mm.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
selfishness.
Yeah.
See, selfishness destroys all relationships, no matter what the relationship is.
Mm-hmm. That's the
And
truth.
so when you have and I, well, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that women come when they really love a guy or into somebody. I seen it for myself. The women that really loved me, they thought of they thought of us. It wasn't just about her.
Mm-hmm.
It was less selfishness on her part.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now the self has its place, you know, but in terms of being together and growing and a culture of love, a nourishment,
Mm-hmm.
that is more us than I. You ever look at the real bad arguments? It's always I, me,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. And look, you always do.
right?
Mm-hmm.
With that I don't like it. I and me, and if it was up to me,
Right.
all of these things. But for the people that's listening, we have three secure queens on the line. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that can be very intimidating because a person that's secure, you can't hide that. You you
Right.
you don't have to say anything when you walk in the room. They like, oh, this one's not going to be easy.
Exactly. I
That's the
get
other
that
part
all the
that I do
time.
not like. I don't like that. I mean, I deal with it, but I do not like it because I can just tell when I go somewhere and people are intimidated. Like, look, you be intimidated if you want to, but I'm gonna be me. I don't care.
Look, and Queen, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. Don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as an automatic sifting system.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because that means no BS that can't come up to you. You've
Right.
already sifted it through without you even having to open your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My own
Yeah.
protection for self.
That's
That's
right.
energy
That's
protecting me.
right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and I tell women come up to me and they be like, well, I just intimidate men too much, and sometimes I just won't do a certain thing. I say, no, 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 um,
Mm-mm.
because it's like what I said earlier. The word love and friendship and meditation and dating, it's been so abused, it's almost lost its meaning.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
how can you have a real relationship without being secure?
You can't.
You sure can't.
You can't.
Because it's definitely what I was mentioning earlier, like me having the anxiety, like in my past relationships when a guy was out. And not saying all of my ex-boyfriends cheated, but because I was so insecure about my own self, like, oh, I'm not enough. So he's definitely
Mm,
out there doing stuff. And he could just be at the store or hanging with his friends. But my own
Right.
insecurities have me going crazy in the house, going through Facebooks and stuff. So that's one thing I had to learn. Like, I am enough. you know, like,
Mhm.
and if he is doing that, then I need to leave. He's not the one for me because I'm a whole plate and a table. Like,
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you
So
go.
enough. Say that again, Jody. You're
I'm a
enough,
whole
right?
plate and the table. I am enough.
And you're enough.
Yeah.
See
Yes.
that a lot of people are missing that.
Yeah.
For the
Yes.
people out there watching, the women on this platform is not missing it. But those of you who
Hmm.
watching who may be looking for answers or solutions, never look at yourself and say, I'm not enough.
Hmm.
Exactly.
You are enough. It's just a matter of you being that,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and I tell women all the time, and those of you who don't know me, I have uh, a book out called Beyond Thought: Living Without Hurt and Depression. I talk to couples, and this is what I do. But those of you who don't know me, I was talking to a woman who's in a relationship, saying she can't find the right guy, a real secure woman too, at that. But she just had this thing to where she was like, this guy said this certain thing about me, and I said, well, you have to leave him. You know that, right? She was like, oh, Rich, you're always going to the extreme. I said, no, look, like Jody said, if you're enough, all a guy has to do is prove that he's willing to be able to deal with enough. Now, if he's got, once you see that bad sign, you have to get rid of it. Because once you let somebody pick a hair and you don't even, of course, you're going to have differences. But if you let somebody keep picking on you, you're going to wake up bald,
Mm-hmm.
and that statement goes so far because this is what the government does to us.
Hmm.
This is what religion do to us. Soon as you walk in, they create this theme that you're not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. So
That's why for me, being whole, knowing thyself is important when in getting involved in relationships. So for me, an issue might be me being myself, bringing everything to the table off the rip. The brother might have insecurities and might not be secure enough to be with one woman who wants to be with multiple men.
Mm.
Dude, that's your issue. You got to deal within yourself, or you move forward and move on to a different kind of relationship. But you can't keep trying to come after me knowing that you just want to try to keep me to yourself. I don't roll like that.
so
So
can so
that's what
can
I have issues with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
well
No, I mean, and it's so funny, and it's so funny you said that because on the flip side, as a female, like when I was younger, I would tell the guy telling me like, "Oh, I have multiple girlfriends. Are you okay with that?" I would tell him yes, in the thought that I'm gonna change him later on. Like I'm gonna be
That's what they think. They think they can change me. No, baby, you can't do that.
So yeah, man, you gotta take what you know. If you know that you want a relationship and this person is telling you otherwise, do not think you can change them. Just move along. That's not what you want. Like don't pretend to want it in the thought that I'm such a great person, they're gonna change. Like
Hmm.
that's not how it works.
but
Exactly.
but the the beautiful thing about women who are secure and men who are secure, you do change that person into seeing life in a more secure way,
Mhm.
whether they admit it
Yeah.
or whether
They
they admit it
become
or not. Yeah.
they become
It,
better beings. They become their true selves because of them
hmm
allowing themselves to grow forward.
And
They have to give themselves the go ahead to evolve.
Mhm.
It's the interaction of the two. It's that what they would say, the iron sharpening the iron. That's it. But they have to be willing
mhm,
participants in
Mhm.
that area.
that's it. And
Yes.
and the strength of that is that you know you're constantly in a growing motion. I think a lot of times, somebody who may be kind of half stepping on it, and they see you walking in your confidence, walking in
Mhm.
your secure light, walking in your balance, it'll it'll prime them to say, hey, you know what? she doing something, and it doesn't matter, I because see, I'm gonna be secure with myself. Now what you do on that side is gonna be entirely up to you, but what I'm not gonna do is slow down my motion to
Mm.
help you catch up because you're not sure about where you are. Now if I'm walking in my confidence and you see that and you be like, you know what, we're gonna do this thing together, then that's that teamwork. Let
Mm.
me, just as Queen says, iron sharpens iron. And I think when people start getting to the point of knowing themselves, I mean, it's gonna take some downright dirty situations that's going to get you to build yourself up to understand who you are and what you will and will not accept. But the only way you know what you will and will not accept is a lot of times it's through experience. And that's the only way you learn, through experience. You could go
That's
by
how
here and say, yeah.
that's how I came to the knowing of myself.
Mhm.
I came to
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge of understanding I cannot be with just one man. I had to learn to know myself because I
Mm-hmm.
tried that monogamy thing and it did not work.
Mhm.
Prior to
Mm-hmm.
me trying the monogamous thing for me, that's why you got to know everybody's different. Prior to me trying that for myself, I had lived a life of having the multiple relationships when I was younger. And I just thought, oh, I'm just being like this because I'm young and this is a stage and a phase that I'm going through. So then as I got older, the peer pressure of religion and family, oh, it's time for you to get married and have kids and do this and do that. So I was like, okay, just flowing along with the program. I did that. And then I realized, this is hell. This is not what I want. This is not me. This is not who I am. So I had to pull away and get to know who I truly was to find myself. And once I found myself and I realized what I needed for myself and for my self growth, then I had to be able to be affirmative within that knowing, stand firm on it, be confident within myself, and stand my ground, no matter what other people said. Because people were like, ew, you like this, you like, yes, because that's who I am. Nobody's going to change me. This lifestyle works for me. Might not work for you, but it works for me, and I know it works for me. I'm not going to allow myself to be trapped in a prison in this kind of lifestyle when I know what works for me and grows me forward in a different aspect. I'm open and I respect the idea of lifestyles for every human being. Everybody chooses their own path. That's me. That's who I am. And I wish everybody was like that. Just be open. Just respect other people and what they choose for themselves instead of trying to push on what your beliefs are and what you think it should be. Everybody has their own take. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path. There are some commonalities within the journey, but specifically for everyone's inner self growth, everybody has a certain path that they have to follow for their true higher self. That's
Mhm.
my
Well, it's a very interesting take, but it shows a lot of things in terms of being living free also. Now
exact.
there's a freedom that's destructive, but there's
Yeah,
also a freedom that is not destructive,
And it brings happiness.
you know. And I mean, we have a consciousness, we have everybody's different, but we have more things in common than differences.
right.
When it comes to, we all would like to be free. We all would like to, if we want to go have some cherries, to go get some cherries. If we want to go meditate under a tree, we would like to do that. We all
Mhm.
would like to be free.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was early in being a musician, I had a job at the post office, and I left the post office. They said, "Why'd you leave a post office? It was a great job. You were already in, and all of this stuff. And you need to get settled in life. You should have stayed at the
Mhm.
post office." And I was like, "I'm already settled. This gig I'm about to do with music is making twice as more than I'm making at the post office."
Mhm.
I mean, when you decide, society doesn't want us to be free.
Mhm.
And
Say
so
that
soon,
again.
and so soon as you step up against that, you're a
It's a fact.
conspiracy theorist. As soon as you investigate the investigators, oh, you're a
Exactly.
conspiracy theory. Oh, you're different. Okay, what's wrong with being different?
Mhm.
There's There's trees, there's streams, there's lions, there's gazelle. Everything around you is different.
I think because people
So
want to try and put you in a category. You know,
In a
you're a
box.
woman, you should be this way. You're black, you should be this way. You're 30,
right,
you should be here. And I think people need to like seriously step away from those labels because the
Exactly.
21st century woman isn't the 18th century woman. And the
Exactly.
same way the 21st century woman isn't going to be the 22nd century woman. Like things
Hmm.
are going to change. We can't keep labeling even men. Like at times, like if a man is too sensitive, then he's not being masculine enough. But what if his sensitivity is him being masculine? Like,
Right.
you know?
yeah, we're a ball of differences. And a single individual, a man is sensitive. A man, and people say, "Well, I'm a man. I don't cry." I said,
That's
you're a
ridiculous.
human. You're a human being.
Yes.
You're not a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You know. And we have a question that says, Queen Kenya, how do you
Okay.
deal with the energies of multiple men? That's a question that was on the panel.
Very carefully. Very carefully. Because I am in a relationship with one man right now and I'm seeing other men. I have to really allow that dating and courting opportunity to evolve and happen to see and to feel if they are prepared to really grow forward in a relationship with me. And some people are very impatient. Time tells all things. Everything is
Yeah.
revealed within time. So I have all the time in the world. So I just interact with them very carefully and patiently. And I have a lot of meditations and rituals that I do for myself that gives me intuition, intuitive, clairvoyant seeing so I can see for myself what I need to see. Because a lot of times I see things that other people don't see. So I'm grateful for that gift
Mm.
within myself. And it's really basically common knowledge of knowing the person, interacting with them, the energy exchange, how we exchange energy, and just spending time and seeing how they evolve within the time that we spend.
Yeah.
If the energy is not there or it starts to fade or it shifts or does some weird stuff, I know how to cut people off. I know boundaries for myself. Every night I say a mantra for myself. I release all negative energies that will not serve me within my life. If it is a being that I am connected with that is not going to serve me effectively, positively, and help me with my growth, then they gonna leave anyway, because I'm already harping on that every day. I don't want to be connected to beings that's not like that. That's not going to
Queen,
help my growth. Yes.
okay, I have a question. So, have you, as as you travel this path here, have you sat down and you were building with a brother and like you've always done, you laid all your cards on the table and he's like, yeah, I can do that, I'm cool with it and stuff like that. And then when they really seeing, okay, this is how this is going, have you
Hmm.
ever had a brother go left on you, thinking that they
Yes.
could change you to
Yes.
try to be in
And
a
I cut
personal
him off.
relationship with them? Uh-huh.
He's
That's what I was going
gone.
to ask you, how you handled it.
He's gone. I can't do
Yeah.
that. I will not do it
Hmm.
because I told you from the jump.
Yeah.
You cannot change me. Don't try. Now, if you want to be able to see, with some men, they just can't handle the idea because they already in their mindset on how they've lived their life all along. And that's why for me it has to be an opportunity to grow with someone who may have similar or like-minded thinking, because with some of these men who have been in so-called monogamous relationships most of all their life, but they still had a little sister on the side, they
Yeah.
think when they
Yeah.
meet me it's like, okay, I'm getting the best of both worlds. I could be with her and be with this other broad at the same time. But then they get into me and it's like, oh no, I want you for myself and I'm gonna leave her. Nah, dude, it's not gonna work like that because
Mm-mm.
I know who you are and you're really not at this place where you're going to change. Because if you were going to change from an inner growth place, you wouldn't be trying to keep me for yourself because you would understand how I'm growing forth and what this life journey is for me. And so if you decided that you really wanted to just be with me and not be with somebody, that would be your choice. And you would work on that inner growth for you, for yourself. But you would still embrace me and love me for who I am, knowing that I'm going to do what I need to do for the village and for
Yeah.
myself, which is growing forth with the other brothers.
Yes, and that's a good answer, and it's and if it's coming from Kenya, there's no fine print. Okay,
That's
so
right. And
uh,
Kenya, Queen Kenya, whenever
Yes,
you
ma'am.
come out with a book, I want the first autograph copy. Yeah.
I am an
As
author.
I,
I have several books on
well, girl,
Amazon.com.
look, girl, we got to talk, girl. You got to give me that book. And let me know when you have some workshops. I may want to attend one. I'm just saying.
but 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 look here, Queens. We're gonna start to wrap this up, and but I still need something from the three of you before we go. And
Okay.
I hate to I can go 2 more hours with you, Queens, but I have a show on my platform coming up. And if you ladies are staying up a little longer, come join my platform, which is coming on at 4:30. It's called Beyond the Surface. I'm talking about holistic health and different topics every Sunday. But yeah, we're gonna continue this because I think a lot of people have learned a lot from you Queens today. I've learned a lot, and this is what Queen's Corner is about. And all you men out there, I know y'all might be hating on me, but look, I'm gonna give you a chance to talk also. Uh, and so, in closing, uh, I would like each of you queens to talk to the younger queens out there who may have the question of, um, you know, what should I what's the best thing I should be looking for in dating? And any of you queens can go first.
Um, I think for me, it's like a two-part question. It's love of self, and also not being afraid to date outside of your type. Because sometimes the type of guy you think that you're attracted
Mm-hmm.
to could also be the poison that's affecting your life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Very well said. And Kenya or Trishay, either one.
Um, Queen Kenya here. I would say definitely, as Queen Jody has said, self love. You have to have that self love and knowledge of self first. Take time to get to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be so anxious to jump into a relationship just because it's what people say you should do. Everybody else around you's doing it. Don't be so quick to just jump into a relationship. But once you feel comfortable enough to start dating and you have found comfortability, stability, confident within yourself, and you're good, what you should attract is what you are. So you will be looking for a reflection of yourself. Everything
Mm-hmm.
that you want to bring to the table, everything that you desire, that is what should be on the other side of the table. It should look like what you desire. So in your seeking, look for those attributes. If it's not a representation of those things before you, then perhaps that's not the one for you.
That's
Great.
good.
Uh, very well spoken. And Queen Kenya, where can somebody get your book? Give us a little information.
My books are on Amazon.com. I have a book out. It just was released in February. It's called Journeys, and it's actually a story of I write creative writing, fictional novels and tales of such. um, Pashea gave me an idea, and I'm going to start working on it today, about actually writing about topics like this from this perspective of my life and my life experiences. But Amazon.com, the book is called Journeys, a short tale of journeys, and the author name is Queen, Queen, Kenya, Kenya. You can just put that in as the author name and look for the books, and it'll pop up. That's the latest book that I have written, Journeys, and it is the featured story is about a young woman who lives a polyamorous lifestyle in her journey and how she finds her way. So,
Okay,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome. And Sister Prashay, your closing statement on how a young woman should what she should be looking for in dating.
Okay. First of all, girl, queen, I'm getting that book today. But anyway, uh, it's the main thing that I want to say to my sisters. Uh, just as the other queens have stated, the main thing is we got to be real and honest with ourselves. Whatever our past is in our relationships, we've got to take the time to readjust ourselves. But not only that, look in the mirror, see what is it about us that has triggered a failed relationship, a failed marriage,
mhm.
whatever it is. We got to take that long, hard look in the mirror. Don't be so quick to jump in bed and jump into another relationship to get over the one that you just got out of. So you got to be real with yourself. You got to lay everything out on the line. And when I say lay everything out on the line, I mean be honest. Be honest with that person that's sitting across from the table. Be honest about what you want, what you will and will not accept. Don't, if you got 10 things on your list that you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're not wavering on, don't accept 8 of those boxes being ticked, because those two things that's on that box is going to drive a wedge in that relationship like you've never seen. So be honest with yourself about what it is that you want, what it is that you need within yourself to make your have yourself be the best person that you can be going into a relationship. You got to stop. You got to reevaluate yourself whenever you come out of one, because that takes you have to take a long hard look. And a lot of people don't like what they see. A lot of people won't even look at the reflection in the mirror when all those things fail. And we must do that because we gotta heal from that. Hurt people. Don't take
Exactly.
that into another relationship. You asking for failure, you asking for it to just fall and you break right along with it. So take the time to heal yourselves in between time. You need that, you deserve that, and that person that you're wanting to attract needs to get the best you that you can offer. So that's my take.
And beautifully said and well said. And and this has been a beautiful um, a beautiful Queen's Corner, which they all are beautiful. We just keep getting better and better. Um, like I said, I can talk to these queens for 2 or 3 more hours. But again, I'm Rich Lamar. This is Mental Rolodeck, and you guys know how Mental Rolodeck brings it. We either come correct or we don't come at all. And all of you young people listening, the male and females have learned something. The youth and adults have learned something from these queens. We're talking about these queens are very strong. They're secure, and and so that's what I mean. And my closing statement is: the queens already said it. Do what's good for you, or you're no good for nobody. And until next time, Mentorola Deck and Rich Lamar saying positive energy to all.
Okay.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Peace.
So
Hold on
we're,
tight,
you know,
everybody.